Topic 3, Animals. Flock. The word flock refers to a group of animals, like birds or sheep, that have congregated together. The flock of pigeons at the park is so tame that they'll eat right out of your hand. You can also use flock to mean a congregation of people, like a flock of children at the zoo, or a group of people belonging to a church. Example, you and your friends might flock to the mall when you learn that your favorite singer will be there signing autographs. Herd. A herd is a bunch of animals, or people who act like a bunch of animals. It's also a verb. When people herd animals, they try to keep them moving in the same direction. Example, we herded the children into a spare classroom. Gregarious. The word was originally used to describe animals that live in flocks. It's from the Latin word grex, meaning herd. Not surprisingly, people began using it to describe humans who liked being in groups. If you know someone who's outgoing, sociable, and fond of the company of others, you might want to call her gregarious. Example, he is a gregarious person who avoids solitude. Mammal. All mammals are part of the scientific class mammalian, which got its name from the mammary glands used to nourish mammal babies. Example, what do you have in common with your hamster, a whale, a bat, a giraffe, and the kid who packs your groceries? Everyone is a mammal, a hairy, warm-blooded, milk-drinking vertebrate, just like you. Carnivore. A carnivore is something that feeds on the flesh of animals. Did you know that cute little baby seals are carnivores? They eat penguins. Appetite. If you've filled your plate 3 times, you must have a strong appetite. I hope you still have room for dessert. Example, if you've lost your appetite, you're not hungry at all. Herbivorous. Herbivorous comes from the Latin word herba, which means green plants, and that's what herbivorous animals eat all of the time: grass, leaves, and other plants. A buffalo, a goose, a grasshopper, and a stegosaurus sit down to eat dinner. This isn't a joke, it's an example of herbivorous creatures who exist on a diet of plant life only. Example, massive and strong animals actually have peaceful herbivorous eating habits, like gorillas. Omnivorous. An omnivorous animal eats meat and plants, everything on the menu. Example, I was an omnivorous reader, and I added to that a desire to systematize my understanding. Predator. A predator is an animal that eats other animals, or people or companies who act like they do. Lions are predators, but so are pickpockets and some giant corporations. Prey. Prey is an animal hunted for food. If you're a delicious-looking deer during hunting season, watch your back. You're the prey for all those guys in orange jackets carrying rifles. Rodent. A rodent is a small furry mammal whose teeth never stop growing. The rodent species includes mice, rats, squirrels, beaver, and many more. Scavenger. Ever catch a raccoon in your garbage can? The critter is a scavenger, digging around for whatever it can find to eat. In fact, anything or anybody searching for and collecting what others have tossed away is a scavenger. Microbe. Microbe is a somewhat outdated way for scientists to talk about the tiny bugs that cause diseases. When you get the flu, you can blame a microbe. Reptile. There are many classes of animals. People are part of the mammal class. Another class is reptiles, which are all cold-blooded vertebrates, meaning they have backbones. Snakes, turtles, tortoises, lizards, alligators, chameleons, geckos, skinks, and crocodiles are all reptiles. Primate. A primate is a monkey, ape, human, or other similar mammal. The things we all have in common are large brains, opposable thumbs, bendy toes, and good eyesight. You've probably visited the primate house at the zoo. When you see the word primate, you probably think of monkeys. Mollusk. Your pet snail is one example of a mollusk, or a soft, spineless animal. Vertebrate. A vertebrate is an animal that has a backbone and a skeleton. Vertebrate animals include humans. Vertebrates have many bones, including the skull which protects their brains, which tend to be large. People, dogs, horses, lizards, dogs, cats, and many other animals are in the vertebrate category. Invertebrate. An invertebrate is an animal without a backbone. Invertebrate animals include fruit flies and sea sponges. Fowl. The noun fowl usually means domesticated birds kept for eating or producing eggs. If your friend brings you eggs from the chickens she keeps in her backyard, you can say that she has pet fowl. Horde. Use the word horde to describe a large crowd. Example, it does not want hordes of hungry refugees pouring over its border. Aquatic. If it has to do with water, it's aquatic. If you prefer your volleyball net in a pool, it sounds like you are into aquatic sports. Example, boats are aquatic vehicles. Amphibian. An amphibian is a cold-blooded vertebrate animal that is born in water and breathes with gills. Example, frogs, toads, and salamanders are all amphibians. Migrate. To migrate means to move from one place to another, sometimes part of a back and forth pattern, and sometimes to stay. Peck. To peck is to jab or bite at something the way a bird does with its beak. A peck is also a unit of measurement, like when Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Trot. A troth is a serious promise to be faithful, such as a pledge people make about getting married. If you and your girlfriend announce your troth at a family dinner, then that means you better be serious about your relationship. Offspring. This is basically another word for children. Baby horses, gorillas, lizards, and humans are all offspring. A woman who gives birth to quadruplets suddenly has a lot of offspring. Hatch. A bird such as a hen that sits on eggs to incubate them can be said to hatch the eggs. Example, how did you hatch this idea? Domesticate. To domesticate something is to tame a wild animal or plant so it can live with people. Dogs and cats are called domesticated animals because they live with us peacefully. Chirp. A chirp is the short, high sound a bird makes. Example, birds chirp. Hibernate. To hibernate means to take a season-long snooze. This word can also be used to describe any kind of inactive or dormant state, especially for the purpose of getting rest. Example, hibernating bears don't sleep all winter, as is commonly believed. Camouflage. To camouflage is to disguise, and a camouflage is that which disguises, like the leaf-colored and patterned uniforms worn by soldiers who want to blend in with their natural surroundings. Extinction. Extinction is when all members of a particular group die. Most often, we use it to discuss animal species. Many fear that the tiger is headed for extinction because of development and hunting. Example, the extinction of a species. Monogamous. Use the adjective monogamous to describe a person or animal who has only one mate. Beavers are one of only a few mammals that are truly monogamous, raising their young and living with a single mate. Example, monogamous marriage. Niche. A niche is a space that's all your own, from a literal corner or enclosure to some kind of professional specialty. Like finding a niche in the scented soaps market with peanut butter body wash and winning over a loyal, if not nutty, following. Example, he found his niche in the academic world. Habitat. Your habitat is the environment you are accustomed to living in. Zoos usually try to mimic the habitats of the animals they keep, housing bats in a nocturnal house and monkeys in a cage with trees to climb and swing from. Example, the areas were designated as critical habitats for the animal. Caterpillar. A caterpillar is a fuzzy, worm-like insect that transforms into a butterfly or a moth. Many caterpillars are striped and colorful. Chameleon. Look closely at that branch or leaf, you might be able to spot a chameleon hiding. These little lizards are able to change color and adapt to their backgrounds, blending in to hide from predators. Tentacle. A tentacle is long, ropey thing that sticks out of an animal's face. You probably think they're gross. Octopuses probably think they're cute. Fuzzy. Fuzzy things are soft, downy, or furry. Few people can resist the charms of a tiny, fuzzy kitten. Fluffy. Things that are soft and airy look and feel fluffy. Down comforters, buttermilk pancakes, certain cats, and big snowflakes are all fluffy. Coral. Coral is a marine polyp with a calcareous skeleton that lives in colonies. You probably last saw coral while scuba diving at the Great Barrier Reef. That or while looking at the coral necklaces in the beach shop. Crab. A crab is a stubby sea creature with a flat body, 8 legs, and claws. You can sometimes find tiny crabs in the sand on the beach.